I see my name in shining lights. Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
It's time to get down to business on the weekend's #1 business program. Known as the King of Networking, your host, Shalom Klein, has worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and created countless jobs. So, to success. Let's get down to business.
And indeed, we're all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship in business. We talk a lot about business here on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you will not want to miss. So let's jump right in. I am thrilled to be joined by Bryan Shane, who together with his wife, Patricia Lafferty, they are management consultants. And in their book, The Leadership-Driven Method to Performance Measurement, they lay out a roadmap for public and non-for-profit organizations to deal effectively with ongoing issues and achieve strategic goals. So with that in mind, it is my pleasure to invite Bryan Shane to the program. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Shalom. Look forward to talking to you and your audience.
Absolutely. So I know you've been at this for a little while, since 1985. You've been doing a lot of consulting, and you've already written a book called The 3P Approach to Governance, the how-to book on improving decision-making in the public sector. And really, this book, again, The Leadership-Driven Method to Performance Measurement, is really, really an essential read. So let's first start with your background. Bryan, how did you get into this line of work and become the subject matter expert that you are today?
I was in graduate school. I met my wife, and we were looking, you finish graduate school and you're looking to begin a career, and consulting seemed to be the one that offered the best opportunity for me. I just like the idea that the opportunities changed regularly. The challenges were different, and the performance measurement approach evolved because we saw so many examples of project leaders or management leaders in the public sector being unable to make a decision because they didn't have timely, accurate, and complete information. And when you see somebody hitting a wall over and over again, you decide to do something against it. For it, and so eventually, we wrote a bunch of articles on how you do it better, much better, and it evolved from there. And we just got more and more effective at doing it. And so later in our careers, we saw rather than keep the intellectual property, we would share it and make it available to people, because while it is a technical subject, the book we wrote is a how-to book. And so
it is a how-to book, indeed.
Allow people to work in that area. Absolutely,
and it's a very important read indeed. So again, the Leadership-Driven Method, the LDM to Performance Measurement. Yeah. We're not going to have time to go through everything, but I know that it is a how-to book based on a couple of there are acronyms, because everything always requires a good acronym. So I'm seeing a PMS, a PMA, a PMIS, and a PMI. Can you explain a little bit about why those are so important in this leadership-driven method?
Part of it is that the leadership-driven method it requires the leadership of whoever's running the organization. But the power of this book is that it can be used for a person who is just running a small shop, or it can be used for a whole department. And the acronyms help to distinguish the different terminologies that are used, because often performance measurement gets confused with a lot of other things. And so we have a lot of tools in the book that can be used to diagnose issues with existing performance measurement systems. They're what we call the windows. And a lot of the tools and techniques there are designed to be able to use directly from the book to diagnose the current situation of performance measurement systems. So it's designed to fix existing systems as well as to develop new ones. But since the vast majority of performance measurement systems exist and need to be improved, that's why the diagnostic tools will allow you to determine where you are. And from there are many tools in which will help. There's a methodology, and there's also 3 case studies showing how this methodology has been applied to major crime projects, training, development, and procurement.
Mm-hmm. Very, very helpful indeed. So again, I'm chatting with Bryan Shane. We're talking about the leadership procurement method, which is so important indeed. And for our audience, mostly made up of small business owners, entrepreneurs, I'm always curious, what the big takeaway, what is the thing that you want our listeners to remember if they hear nothing else in this conversation?
The one thing that's really important, I'll give you an analogy. Back in the 70s, I worked with Pollution Probe, and we tried to get people to understand the importance of recycling. Nobody really cared back then. But 10 years later, the 3 R's became a business practice or household practice that everyone adopted. So today, performance measurement is a navigation system. Every business, whether it's public sector, private sector, is filled with constantly changing conditions. And the ability to be able to react and drive your business forward can only be done with information. So performance measurement is key because it's the navigation system. It helps you to go left, right, round the corner, but keep going in the direction you want to achieve your strategic direction. And without it, organizations will fail. So I guess I liken it to if you were going to buy something like a house or a car, you would do your due diligence and explore every angle before you made that purchase. Businesses are the same, especially in the public sector. They have to have that due diligence. And this book provides the ability to develop a rigorous performance measurement system that will give you the information that you need to steer your business or your organization in the right direction. And the only thing you can expect today is change constantly every time. So in order to steer, you might have to have the information to allow you to navigate towards your direction. Sometimes it'll be slow, sometimes it'll be fast, but the only thing you can count on is change. So you can see why that's important. Go ahead, Joel.
Absolutely, indeed. Great advice right there. Again, from somebody who's been doing this for quite a few years. I know since 1985, you and your wife have been dedicated to this. So as we come to a conclusion in our conversation, what is next for you? Is there another book in store? And where have you been dedicating your practice throughout the pandemic? And where do you plan to go from here?
Sure. We're at the end of our career, so we devoted 5 years of our life to writing, publishing, and promoting. So Churchill said that a book is like an amusement, then it becomes a mistress, master, and then a tyrant. We're at the tyrant stage. So we're using our time now to promote the book. And
that's great. Well, perhaps that's the most important homework assignment we could leave our listeners with right here as we come to a conclusion in our conversation with the one and only Bryan Shane. How can people get a hold of the book? Well, let's plug it again. What's the name of the book? How can they get a hold of you? And how can they purchase a copy?
You can purchase it on Amazon or any of the major houses that do it. It's available as a hard copy or as a soft copy. You can contact me at bpcgallery.com, or you can call me at 613-277-8912. I'd be glad to talk to anybody.
Absolutely. Bryan Shane, really appreciate you sharing your expertise with all of our listeners in Chicago and around the world. Definitely, I encourage everybody to get in touch with you and pick up a copy of the book wherever books are sold. It's a great read. It's the second, as I understand it, of your writings, and I know you share a lot of your expertise with our listeners. And speaking of expertise, coming up after the break, we've got more small business jobs and entrepreneurship. After the quick break of some commercials. So don't touch that dial. I also encourage you to get in touch with our sponsor, Tommy Rabali from healthplanchicago.com, healthplanchicago.com for all of your Affordable Care Act and health insurance needs. Their phone number is 630-863-3477, 630-863-3477, and the website again, healthplanchicago.com. Once again, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back and get down to business.